Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. I am your host, Sam Randazzo, and I am joined today by my two shit-talking co-hosts. To my right, it is the one and only Uncle Sam.
Hello.
And rejoining us from his small hiatus, it is Bruce, the tugboat.
What's up?
God.
Did you have a nice time off just charming your cobra or what?
Totally. It was so fun.
Yeah.
It was so
Certainly
fun.
not a cobra. Go ahead.
Okay, let's start off with what's in the news before we get into this week's matchups. Dan Snyder. Dan Snyder, I mean, my man's scrotum must be the size of a cantaloupe because if there's one group of people in the world I wouldn't want to blackmail or extort, it would be Jerry Jones and the NFL owners, because just from looking at Jerry Jones, he looks like the kind of guy who can make you disappear and never resurface again.
I don't know about that.
Well,
I don't know about that because Jimmy Johnson's still around.
Well, Jimmy Johnson's embalmed in Viagra, but other than that, here's a recap of the situation. There are a various number of alleged pending civil suits essentially against Dan Snyder. Some for sexual assault, some for cooking books, and the list goes on. But they're there.
And I'll say this:
He's a scumbag.
he's not the only one.
Well, no, he's not the only one.
And
he was just
in
the only
fact,
one that got caught.
If you dig deep enough on all these guys, you will find fucking graveyards.
Well, somebody has. Dan Snyder has come out and said, due to the fact that the league owners and commissioner are going to try and enact a vote of no confidence on him on Tuesday at the meetings in New York, of which they will need 24 votes of the 32 people voting to essentially force Dan Snyder to sell the team. Dan Snyder knew this was coming and essentially spent the last few months and millions of dollars hiring a team of private investigators to dig dirt not only on the NFL owners, but also on Roger Goodell himself. And he said he will make sure that that information gets leaked because they, quote unquote, can't fuck with him if they do, in fact, go forward with their vote of no confidence against him.
I can't wait to see what he's bringing out. Could Epstein's Island be involved in this?
You know what? I mean, would it surprise you if Bob Kraft was on Epstein's Island at some point?
Listen, I'll say this: God bless Bobby Kraft, because Bobby's a nice guy. He lost his wife, so he was having a relationship, and they banned him for it. They tried to smear him, but in the long run, he smeared everybody else and her.
Either way, we know for a fact that whatever source came out and said that Dan Snyder had this information, procured this information, Jerry Jones is heavily involved in it, as is Roger Goodell. And this is not the first time we have heard rumors about Roger Goodell. If you go back through the archives of Twitter, there are a number of comments there, also Instagram, that Roger Goodell has multiple mistresses in different parts of the country. So,
does his wife know that?
This could be, Dan Snyder could be right in saying he could, quote unquote, blow up the NFL and ruin Roger Goodell's life. This is going to be very interesting to see how it unfolds. Obviously, we'll have an update for you guys on Monday when we know more. But like you said, most billionaires have skeletons in the closet.
No, not skeletons.
Graveyards in the closet. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of these big name owners have some serious shit come out about them.
I just want to see the flight logs.
That's all you care about?
That's all I want to see.
Who was on Epstein's Island?
The flight logs to Epstein's Island.
This is the thing, though.
Yes.
The commander's vote of no confidence, it's being said that it's going to be brought up at Tuesday's meeting, but it is not on the official agenda.
Okay.
It is not on the official agenda. So this could all be hearsay. But
correct.
In all reality, during last night's, if you even want to call that a football game, last night's Thursday night absolute fucking debacle in Washington, the whole stadium, after I don't even know if you want to call that a win, but it was a win in the books, was chanting "sell the team."
I know how that feels.
As us Detroit Lions fans knows. Not only that, but Dan Snyder is obviously in a box at his game, surrounded by his legal team. So even when he's there watching the team play on Thursday Night Football, he had lawyers on each side of him. I bet you this man has not slept on a mission to just destroy everyone
Dan
else.
Snyder. Dan Snyder sleeps just fine at night.
Well,
He doesn't give a shit what anybody thinks.
that's not what I'm saying.
Listen, he's been slinging it for years.
But he's just been. I bet you
Correct.
it has been
Slinging it.
nonstop.
Slinging
Flinging it over someone's shoulder.
You want to know why? They're singling him out for a lot of shit right now. These guys are no saints, any of them.
I agree
These
with
owners
that
are all the
wholeheartedly.
fucking same. And Jerry Jones is one of the worst ones out of all of them.
This is the thing.
A lot of people would disagree with you. They think
Yeah,
you're insane.
a lot of people would agree with me.
He was just stupid enough to get caught.
He was dumb enough to pick his mouth up.
Yeah,
That's all.
that was it.
Yes.
And so it'll be
Should have
interesting.
kept his fucking mouth shut. Jerry Jones has a bad habit of opening up his fucking mouth when he should keep it shut.
Blow
And every
all
time
the
he
bridges.
opens up his mouth, it gets him into trouble, and that's why he doesn't win fucking Super Bowls anymore.
Well, here's
blow 'em
the
all.
thing. It's I don't even know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Obviously,
It wouldn't surprise me if it all gets swept under the fucking rug
yeah,
here real quick.
Yeah, it'll all.
Would not surprise me if if it's not even brought up.
I agree with that.
You know
because,
why? Because Schneider pulled his balls out. That's why.
Yeah, God knows.
He's pulled his balls out. Who knows what he's got on these guys?
Yeah, who knows? I mean,
All of them.
Cha-ching.
Goodell, Jerry Jones, Kraft. Who knows what Schneider's got on his guys? He's been around a long fucking time.
would it blow your mind if Stephen Ross drank the blood of infant children at some point for longevity?
I'm sure that's exactly what he
I
does
mean,
with
God
Tom Hanks.
knows. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I
A
mean?
lot of people have.
Weirdos.
Yeah, a bunch of
Fucking weirdos.
There's another rumor circulating the NFL, and that is a European division expansion by the year 2030.
That's going to happen.
Goodell
I
said
hate
that it is, I mean, he didn't guarantee it, but he said it is in the works. That we know has been passed around all of the owner circles, and it is on future agendas to discuss.
They wanted to do this 3 years
Doesn't make
ago.
sense to do it.
3 years ago,
doesn't
they
make
wanted to
sense.
send the Jacksonville Jaguars to fucking England.
to London.
Doesn't make sense.
London.
So
They've been wanting to do this
Doesn't
for
make
years.
fucking sense.
The Buffalo Bills too
Doesn't
were
make
in
sense.
talks of being fucking sent somewhere too.
this is the rumor that's swirling right now. Essentially, they would not take any of the teams that are currently established here and move them to England.
No, because they want to make new teams.
Correct.
New teams means
So,
new money,
It's
new alignment.
What's proposed is a 4-team division in Europe, 2 of the teams being in London, 1 team being in Munich, and 1 team elsewhere. Paris, Rome have been thrown around as possible options, but essentially what you would do is each of those teams, the top 2 teams from that division, the European division, would be slotted in at the bottom of the AFC and NFC
Okay.
playoffs at the end of each year,
So they're talking about adding 4 teams,
4 to 6.
4 to 6. And I believe that Mexico City has actually been brought up.
Mexico City and
in
Toronto would be
Correct.
part of
Mexico-
the international.
Right.
Those
division.
two make sense.
I agree with that. I support Toronto and Mexico City. in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
But
Across the pond, no
personally,
fucking way.
I agree.
I'm not waking up at 9:30 to watch football on fucking
Yeah, you are.
Sundays every day.
Yeah, you are. Because
No.
we're all do it. Because you know what? It's the NFL.
It's the NFL.
And that's fucking bullshit.
I disagree with it wholeheartedly,
Hey,
though.
$10 billion a year
I'm
industry.
okay with the little, you have one game,
Biggest industry
Yeah.
in the
game
world.
every so often over there. That's cool. But don't bring it over there.
Biggest industry in the
Don't bring
world,
it
bud.
over there.
$10
It's an
billion
American
a year.
sport. It needs to stay American. They got soccer. Let 'em
There's
have it.
there's
10 billion
nothing
a
as
year.
quintessentially
And
American
growing.
as the NFL.
And growing by the fucking year.
I agree.
They already have hockey, basketball, everything over there. Football stays here.
Football should not be.
I'm just waiting to see when we got a team in Beijing.
Well, that
Funded by-
is
Then all
Funded by
hell
Joe
breaks
Biden.
loose.
that is down the road. Their ultimate goal is to make the NFL a worldwide
That's what it is.
league, and
They will even change the name from the NFL to the World
IFL,
Football League.
WFL. I hope
WFL.
that doesn't happen. I agree with you. I
I'm
think
the
it
same
will,
way.
and I agree with you. I hope it doesn't. But getting into some news relevant to this week, Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady has been fined 11 or 12,000. The exact number does not really matter.
Like he gives a shit
for his kick on Grady Jarrett.
He gives his kids more for lunch money than that. What the fuck, dude? Really?
Obviously, during that very controversial call where Grady Jarrett roughed Tom Brady, according to the referees, Brady gave him a little jab there at the end, a little kick, and he has been fined for that.
Anyway.
Baker Mayfield, quarterback for the Carolina Panthers, will not play this weekend. Not that anyone really gives a shit about that because it doesn't matter. Cornerback Joe Hayden has signed a one-day contract with the Cleveland Browns to retire as a Brown, and they will have a celebration for him during their Week 8 game against Cincinnati. Other than that, a little bit of injury news. I mean, it's everywhere, but on top of that, what we've seen here is Colts quarterback Jonathan Taylor is not looking like he's going to play this weekend. That would mean big things.
Colts running back Jonathan Taylor?
Hey,
Colts running back.
He's
Jonathan
right about
Taylor.
all these injuries. These guys are not prepared at all.
Thank you.
All, dude. I
I've
mean,
been saying it from fucking
only just
for
to see
years.
Justin Fields, who's a tank, by the way, because he got airborne last night and came down to the ground multiple times.
By the end of that game last night, Justin Fields looked battered.
But he looked like he could take the contact.
If you ever want to see a player get battered and look battered, go back and watch when Brett Favre signed with the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh.
Go back and look at the interview after they lost to the New Orleans Saints in the NFC Championship game. My man looked like he went fucking 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. He was absolutely battered, bruised, and molested. It was that bad. If you don't believe me, go back, look at the interview. He had a swollen eye, a swollen jaw. He could barely walk. He was absolutely crushed.
And let me guess, he played.
That's battered. And I'm going to tell you something. I truly believe that the training camps and the way they do practices now are the reason why these guys are not prepared.
It's doing more harm than it is good for these players.
Well, because what it is they don't want to get their players hurt, and I totally understand that. But them being so light in their practices, when these guys get into the real fucking games, they don't know how to absorb these shots anymore.
Right.
And that's
their bodies
a big
aren't tuned
issue.
for it.
That's a big issue.
Right.
You talk to any guy who's played this game within the past 15 years, Tom Brady included, he'll even tell you that.
Yeah.
He said the physicality of the game is nowhere near what it was 15 years ago. But
Weird to say
these
that
guys
you
are in a
were-
lot
you were
better
playing
shape
in the
now
league.
because it's all about
Pliability.
it's all about athleticism.
Yep.
It is not about physicality anymore.
Well,
Yeah, but even with athleticism, you still need to account for all the contact.
The
that
athleticism, they can't take the physicality
The
of the game
physicality,
because
yes, that's what
it's
I'm
all
saying,
about.
yeah.
Their bodies are accustomed to making one-hand catches 6 yards out of bounds with your toes down. It ain't about fucking catching a shot coming across the middle anymore. See, these guys can't take it anymore.
You're right.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it needs to fucking change. It needs to go back.
Well, it's not going to change.
It's not going to.
Because guess what? It's about money, Bruce, and
But-
it's about health and safety.
Well-
they don't want to be sued.
speaking of injuries, Falcons tight end Kyle Pitts is doubtful to play this weekend.
Again.
T. Higgins is questionable, considered day-to-day against Sunday's game with the Saints. It is not looking like he
What's
will
wrong
play.
with T. Higgins?
Ankle.
Ankle. He's got a bad. Are you
Yeah.
fucking kidding me? Tape it and get out there. I'm so tired of this shit.
Rashad Bateman will not be playing this
Yeah,
weekend,
he's another
as I'm
one.
sure
He's
you
a fucking
have
another
seen.
one. What's he got?
A foot.
A foot. My foot hurts. Okay.
Dak
All right.
Prescott
Oh, Christ.
is looking better in practice.
What
He has made a
the
lot of progress. Jerry Jones says he's got his zip back on the ball, but declined to answer if the quarterback will play Week 7.
Here, I'll give you the answer to that right now. No. He will not. You want to know why?
No.
You want to know why? I'm going to tell you something right now. If the Dallas Cowboys win this week and they bring this fucker back next week and they fucking lose, there's your answer.
You sounded like Dr. Evil when you
Robbie
said no.
Anderson, wide receiver for Carolina, is out today with illness, but is expected to play Sunday. Okay. Laviska Shenault, on the other hand, will not be playing, as won't Baker Mayfield. Mac Jones' Sunday status, in typical Patriots fashion, is still TBD. He did not practice yesterday, and Belichick
he didn't practice
won't make a
yesterday, and yesterday was Thursday, correct?
Correct.
I doubt if he'll play Sunday.
Well, it's Bill
Unless
Belichick.
he get full practice today and,
it is
and tomorrow.
Bill Belichick.
It's Bill Belichick.
You never know what he's going to do.
I would roll with the guy who won you a game fucking last week.
Yep, but they played the Lions.
It's Zappy time.
So
they played the Lions.
I don't
It is
care.
indeed
It's Zappy
time. It's Zap o'clock. Real quick, before we get into this week's matchup, a message from our sponsors. As the Detroit Lions show us each year, you can't win games if you don't have a game plan. The same goes for your finances. It's important to know the financial decisions you make today will affect your financial plans long into the future. Matt Lenhart and his team at Insignia Financial Company can help you plan for all your financial goals today and the long term. Call Matt at 734-744-9607 for a complimentary consultation to make sure your game plan aligns with your financial goals. Call Matt Lenhart from Insignia Financial Company at 734-744-9607 for your complimentary consultation. Do it now. You want to be set up for the long term. Remember, security and investment advisory services offered through Royal Alliance Associates Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Royal Alliance Associates Incorporated is separately owned, and any other entities or marketing names mentioned here are independent of Royal Alliance Associates. Call Matt now. Best decision you can make. To start off the week, we have the San Francisco 49ers heading to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. San Francisco is a 5-point favorite with an over-under of 44.5. And we have the battle of the two most disappointing tight ends of the year. George Kittle, who, even though he's healthy now, doesn't do anything. And Kyle Pitts, who's injured and doesn't do anything. This game is set up for a typical San Francisco win. Their defense will stifle the Falcons. The Falcons will score 9 points. Deebo Samuel will score 2 touchdowns. Jimmy Garoppolo will look uninspirational.
They're not the same team without Cordell Patterson.
Falcons, I agree with that, are rather one-dimensional now, and the only problem with that is you don't have any receivers to throw the ball to because Kyle Pitts is dead. Cordell Patterson is dead. And you have Uncle Sam's favorite player, Zacchaeus, whatever his name is.
Zacharias.
Whatever he is, as the number one receiver there at this point. The Falcons were cute for a little while there.
They need to call Detroit and get Quintus Syphilis onto the team with Zacharias.
But I'm taking the 49ers -5. This is just one of those games that I really think San
I'm going to
Francisco
agree
will
with
win.
you on that, and I am going to take the 49ers, giving up the 5.5 also.
Yeah.
It's 5.5 now?
It's 5.5.
Okay.
As of today, it was 5.5.
Well, as of yesterday, it was 5, but that 44, I don't see that happening. I don't see 44.5 points coming out of that. I'm going to pound the under on that game heavily because, one, I don't think the Falcons have the firepower to score against the 49ers. And two, if there's one thing that we kind of know about the 49ers, it's that they're going to win games, but they're not going to put up a lot of points. So for me, I think that's an under game all day, but that line could be even higher than 5.5.
How Atlanta can stay in this game.
No.
Because they're not going to be able to run the football, and just their offense is not as
it's still
explosive enough to stay
it's 5.5.
in there.
I'm on Yahoo Sports right now.
I am too.
I got it 5.5, but
it's 5.5.
44.5.
Obviously, here's the thing. San Francisco allows the least amount of points to opposing teams, and they're middle of the pack, 16th in points scored per game, 23rd in yards per game, but they run the ball pretty effectively, and I think they'll just run the ball down Atlanta's throat, drain the clock, put up 14 or 17 points, and get out of there with a win.
This could be George Kittle's come out party here, too.
Well, I'm actually working on a trade to get rid of George Kittle at the moment.
Yeah, I would kind of hold up on that.
Next up, we have the
game of the week.
This is the game of the week for you?
For me, it is, because you want to know why?
Why?
I don't even want to tell you why.
Why? It's going to be the Zap
Because I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take the New England Patriots getting 2.5 points going into Cleveland to play the Browns.
Really?
I got a feeling. It's
Patriots.
It's Zappy time.
Patriots are 2.5-point dogs to the Browns in Cleveland on Sunday, over under of 43. I'm going to say this much. I love Nick Chubb this week against the Patriots.
I do too.
I absolutely love him.
If you're a fantasy guy, you definitely play Chubb this week.
Well, yeah. And you play Kareem Hunt and you play Amari Cooper. I think the Patriots looked fabulous last week against the Lions. The Browns gave the Chargers every ounce of everything they had. I think the Browns are better than we all thought, even with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. I expect Nick Chubb to essentially put up 150 yards and 2 touchdowns a week. You can call me crazy, but that's the way the guy looks right now. He has the patience of a saint when he is running the ball. I love the Browns 2.5-point favorites. I will take that handily. I think they'll win this game by more than a field goal.
I'm going to take the 2.5 points and take the Patriots.
Wow.
Yeah.
But why?
Browns, man.
Because I think the Patriots will keep it close. I think the Patriots will win.
Have your burn marks healed from your Patriots pick last weekend or your Lions pick last weekend?
Not yet.
I didn't think so.
I think you're stupid if you're choosing the Patriots to win this game.
I agree.
Personally,
I agree.
I
think
really don't.
I'll be
lose.
honest with you. I think that line's too close, especially if you have
think it's
Zappy.
too close too, but
Because what Bailey Zappi
2.5 right now, it could be 3 by tomorrow.
I'd take it at 3 even. I have full confidence in the fact that
I think the Patriots are going to win this game. I do.
Do you know how little Jacoby Brissett actually has to do for the Browns?
But you know what? Every time the Patriots play the Browns, they fucking manhandle them. Every time they play them, they manhandle them.
You know, somebody else said that last week about the Lions, and you looked at him like he was fucking nuts. But
anyway.
This week, I think you're nuts. I'm going to take the Browns minus 2.5. Next up, we have the New York Jets going to Lambeau to play the Packers. The Packers are a 7.5-point favorite, over under a 45. You want to know what's interesting about all these over-unders? When week 1, week 2, these were all 51, 52, 53. And
Hasn't
we've
been
dropped
like that for 3 weeks.
I know. Jets at Packers. I will say this much. The Packers are coming off of a loss to the other New York team in London, and they didn't look inspiring. The Packers offense has not looked this bad in a very long time. They don't have a solid, dead to rights, consistent receiving option on that team.
They have the ghost
of Randall Cobb.
Who was outstanding last week.
Okay, you need to stop using the words outstanding.
He was outstanding last week.
He was not outstanding.
Listen, a guy his age doing what he's doing is outstanding to me.
Well, some people would say the same thing about Tom Brady, but you won't. But anyways,
some people could say the same thing about him, too.
This is the X factor in this game is going to come down to the running backs. Breece Hall had his emergence last week. I don't expect him to really miss a beat going forward. The Packers D is what it is. It's not the greatest. They're middle of the pack. And I'll tell you this much. There's sneaky weapons on that Jets offense. Obviously, there's been a little bit of turn down on Garrett Wilson. I don't expect that to continue. Corey Davis came up from the ashes. The Jets are 11th in points scored.
I'm taking the Jets in the 7.5.
Absolutely.
You're taking the Jets to cover?
Yep. I'm going to take the under.
I'm going to take the under.
Yes.
I can get by that as well.
But I'm going to take the Packers minus 7.5. I think this game's going to be a 10 to 14 point W for Green Bay. I just can't imagine Aaron Rodgers comes back home after a London game.
Losing another game?
Sunday in Green Bay at 1 o'clock and losing to fucking Zach Wilson and the
500?
Jets.
I would love to see it.
I would love to see it, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think Aaron Jones has a absolute monster game. Absolute
first time in my
Jets'
life.
defense a little bit better than what people think.
The first time.
But hold on. We've been saying that for 6 weeks now.
They showed that last week. Their defense was good.
Listen to me. Last week, they were playing fucking H.R. Puff and stuff at quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. We're going to sit here and talk about how great of a defensive performance it was.
They were
Teddy Bridgewater, the backup quarterback.
They've been good defensively all year.
Listen, they're not great defensively. That's the thing. They're not great defensively.
For a team that only won fucking 4 games last year, I think they're doing
They're
pretty
19th in points allowed. I mean, if Breece Hall has a good game, it will be closer than I expect, but I think Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon have monster weeks, and I'm going to take the Packers minus 7.5. Moving on to what could easily be the shit show of the week. The Indianapolis Colts are hosting Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Colts are 2-point favorites. The over-under is 42. And I'm not going to lie to you, I was very surprised to see the Colts as a favorite in this game. I think people forgot
the shellacking
they took from Jacksonville the first time they played.
Right.
I think they forget that the Jaguars also beat, granted they were injury prone, the Chargers at one point this year, and they gave Philadelphia, everyone's touted next Super Bowl champion already, everything they had and lost that game by a touchdown. I think Jacksonville is better than we've seen thus far. There's some growing pains. I think they exposed themselves last week at Houston. The Colts, to me personally, still have the better win. They beat Kansas City. They found a hole in Patrick Mahomes, and they beat Kansas City. The Denver game didn't really mean much to me, but I'll say this. I'm going to take the Colts -2. As much as I have been a Jaguars slappy all year, that game last week against Houston showed me that they have some serious weakness they still need to fill. I don't love taking them there, but I'm going to. At the same token, I am going to take the over in this game. 42.
I was going to do the same thing.
42 doesn't really do it for me. I think this is going to be a higher scoring game than most people think, even though both of these teams have had rather low scoring games this year. I think the offense is going to click. I will say this. Right now I am saying this with the thought that Jonathan Taylor will be active for this game. If Jonathan Taylor is not active for this game, if Nyheim Hines is not active for this game, I would stay far the fuck away from placing any bets on it. But as it stands right now, Jonathan Taylor is questionable and active, so I'm going to take the Colts -2 and the over.
He played the last time, Jonathan Taylor did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they held him to 60 yards.
Yeah, but that's a one-off.
And I'm going to take the Jaguars and the points to beat the Colts.
I'm taking the Jags and the points as well.
You are? Wow.
With the over.
And over.
All over on that one. Next up, we have the Vikings playing the Miami Dolphins in South Beach. The Vikings are 3.5-point favorites. The over-under is 46. And this is my synopsis on the Miami Dolphins. Until Tua Tagovailoa is playing, you do not favorite them. You do not bet them. You do not pick them.
I agree.
It's who's the quarterback? You said his name on Wednesday. Skylar
Thompson.
Skylar Thompson, whatever he is, you can't expect much out of them with Skylar Thompson. It is an away game for Kirk Cousins. Doesn't matter.
I'm shocked that the Vikings are only giving up 3.5.
Honestly, I was
just about to say that.
I expected at least a 7 to 9 point differential in this.
I also,
and that kind of scares me a little bit.
Why?
Because it just does.
No, because you want to know what? And I've noticed this. Everybody is undervaluing the Vikings right now.
Yeah.
Everybody is undervaluing
them. 4-1. They lead their division.
And Dalvin Cook hit on all cylinders.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the Vikings -3.5. The over-under of 46 is interesting to me because Miami has playmakers that if you put fucking Bruce out there to throw the ball to, they could probably put up a couple tuds. Even though we didn't see that last week, I am going to go off on a limb and say...
Well, I think with the third-string quarterback who's basically been the guy all week, I think they'll be better than what
I think they will, too.
Or they could just be way worse.
Miami...
No.
Miami with the weapons
they come up from the practice.
Never know.
With the weapons they have, the way Mostert's looked, I'm going to take the over in this game. I don't feel great about it, but I'm going to because the Vikings... have moments where they look like they could run roughshod on everybody and put up 35
and they
points
have
a week.
moments where they look like you're like, what the fuck are they doing?
What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
We still don't know a lot about the Vikings yet, but they're 4-1, taking the Vikings -3.5 and the over. Anything to add, Bruce?
I'm taking the Vikings, absolutely. With the points, obviously, and I'm taking the under. Although I am playing Mozart in fantasy this week.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to go a little off center here.
Here we go.
I'm going to take the Dolphins to cover this with the 3.5. I'm going to take the Dolphins to cover at home with the 3.5.
You are.
Yes, I am.
Who do you think is going to win the game?
I truly think the Vikings are going to win, but I just think they got enough to cover. If they win, I think it'll be by a fucking point or two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. This game, to me, had the most surprising line of the entire week. Not only spread, but also over-under. The Bengals are heading down to New Orleans to play the Saints. The Bengals are 2-point favorite. The over-under is 43. And I'm going to say this much. I think the Bengals, I said this last week, are the best 2-3 football team there is.
This could be a shootout. This game right here could turn into an absolute fucking shootout.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
It could. I mean, we saw last week whatever the fuck the Saints were doing.
I feel like it's going to be a very low-scoring game.
You do.
I do, but the Bengals are going to pull it off.
See, this doesn't have low scoring anywhere on it for me.
I don't. I think the under is. I'm going to take the over right now.
At 43, I'm going to take the over
I
as
think
well.
there's going to be more points than that scored easily.
Here's the thing. The Saints showed last week they could fucking put up some
pretty
points.
Explosive in all phases of the game, not just offensively, but defensively they're good, and special teams, they were outstanding last week.
They were.
And if they can bring that into a game at home, I mean, I'm going to take them. I'm going to take them to win this week. I'm taking the Saints to beat, believe it or not, the Cincinnati Bengals.
God bless. The Saints are a backyard football team at this point, and I love to watch them play. Yeah. I love to watch the fucked upness that they are. I love the Taysom Hill story. I love all of it. But at the end of the day, last week they were playing the scumbag-led Seahawks with Geno Smith selling his soul to the devil.
Who've been playing outstandingly. You got to give it up for them.
Well,
they've been playing fucking well.
Yes. Their defense is almost as bad as the Lions.
All they need to do was beat the Lions one time.
But I'll say this. I'm taking the Bengals -2 in this game. This is a no-brainer for me. At some point, the Bengals have to get it together. I think it could be this week against New Orleans. Joe Burrow hasn't had that Joe Burrow game. Jamar Chase hasn't had the Jamar Chase game. Joe Mixon hasn't had the Joe Mixon game. I think it happens this week against New Orleans. Bengals -2 all day. I'll take that, and I'm going to take the over because I do think that the Saints could put up 24 points in this game. I do think that it's very hard to prepare for this Saints offense right now because you don't know what they're going to throw at you. I think the Bengals D will be able to get a few stops on them, but I still like the Bengals to win.
I really like Mixon in this game.
I do too.
I have a weird feeling he's going to have a good game.
Next up, and I'm excited to see what Uncle Sam says about this one. The Baltimore Ravens head to MetLife Stadium to play the New York Football Giants. The Ravens are a 6-point favorite. The over-under is 45, and I want to hear your thoughts on this game.
I got a feeling this could be game of the week, and I am not fucking bullshitting you. I for some reason, something telling me that this game could be outstanding, and I'm going to go out on a limb here.
Oh God.
I'm going to say under the 45.
Okay.
But I'm going to take the Giants in the points against the Baltimore Ravens.
I mean, you're really hanging out with your wang out this week.
Hanging out this week with I don't even know.
You're rocking out with your cock out.
His chains hanging low
with Bruce.
Did you? It's all the varnish getting to your head.
Yeah, that varnish has really done it to me. I'm a little lightheaded right now.
I'll tell you this much. Baltimore's 2 losses were to Buffalo by a field goal and Miami by 4. And that was Tua Tagovailoa played the game of his life.
Yes.
The Giants' one loss. The Giants' one loss is to Dallas. Okay? They beat Green Bay last week in London. They beat the Bears, which doesn't mean anything. They beat Carolina, which doesn't mean anything. And they beat Tennessee by 1 point.
You know what, though? I'll say this about Dallas or the Giants. Their coach has got them guys playing, man. And you don't lose fucking games when you come in prepared the way these guys have been prepared.
You want to know what this Giants team reminds me of? That one that beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Yes, it does. It
Like,
reminds
I've been hearing
that team was 500.
Hey,
it doesn't make sense.
That team was 500. Yeah. They were a fucking 6 seed.
Yep.
Went all the way through and won the fucking Super Bowl.
I know.
And beat an undefeated team also.
I know.
That same team did.
Do I think that's going to happen this year? No. Do I think the Giants are playing good football? Yes. Do I think the Ravens are playing better football? Absolutely. I'm taking the Ravens -6. I'm going to take the under in this game as well. I think the Giants, this is going to be the first time they get punched in the mouth. This is going to be the mouth punch. At the end of the day, I think they're kind of living on a prayer. They don't have the talent. And when you don't have the talent, you can do good things, but eventually it's going to come down on you by a better team. The only problem is for me, and if the Ravens do somehow stumble here, I don't know what the fuck they are doing, but you need to go out and get some receiver help.
Yeah, they have no
you
receivers.
Have
and I'm going to tell you the truth. That's why I'm taking the Giants to cover.
Well, the only problem is the Giants don't have any receiving help either.
No, but I'm going to take them to cover just because, number one, they play really good defense and they can run the football.
But
and I think that could be enough for them. If they run the ball at the Ravens, I think it's a plus for them.
Listen.
When you try to play cute with the Ravens, you get your ass handed to you.
Ravens are very sneaky.
This is the scary thing. Yeah, this is the scary thing about the Ravens, or the sneaky thing. They don't have a number one receiver and score 28 points a week.
Well, when you got a tight end that's scoring 21 of that 28, that'll do it right there.
They don't have a bona fide great running back, and they score 28 points a week.
Oh, they got a running back with a bad Achilles.
Correct. Yeah. So, and they're still scoring 28 points a week.
And a running back who can throw the ball.
But when you got arguably the MVP on your team, that's all you need.
I'm taking the Ravens, the points, and surprisingly the under.
I'm taking the Giants to cover. Not to win, to cover.
You got to be cute all the time, don't you?
God dang it.
Next up, this is my blowout of the week. Tampa Bay is heading to the Steel City to play Pittsburgh. The Bucks are an 8.5-point favorite. The over/under is 45.
The 1-5 Steelers.
The 1-4 still, but
the 1-5. Steelers.
You know what I just caught
after Sunday?
It's Tampa Bay and Tom Brady. TB.
Listen,
it took you
two
fucking years to figure that one out.
If you're going into a stadium and you're an 8.5-point favorite, that I don't know why it just ain't 10 points. I'm taking the Buccaneers, giving up 8.5.
I'm taking the Buccaneers, giving up 8.5, and I'm taking the over simply for the fact that I think Tampa Bay is going to put up.
Well, I think Godwin is finally getting healthy, and when he gets healthy, that it'll be a machine and going.
This is the game. This is the game.
And I don't think the Steelers will be able to run the football against the Buccaneers.
Nope.
I feel sorry for Kenny Pickett. He's going to have to pull every rabbit out of his hat just to stay within 10 points of the Buccaneers.
I think his team loves him, though.
His team loves him. This is not going to be the Steelers' year. It's going to take time.
Absolutely.
And I don't know how much confidence this team still has in Mike Tomlin. Some of the things that we're hearing right now, it's not a pretty situation.
Anybody has faith in him at all.
You know, listen, it was going to come sooner or later when Ben retired and this and that and the other thing. And when they signed Mitch Trubisky, and I was just like,
"What?
Wow, they're in fucking rebuild.
They're in fucking
full rebuild."
I think the Buccaneers are going to put up 42 points in this game. That is truly how I feel. The Steelers are missing the heart of their defense. Najee Harris is like Craig Reynolds. The only thing they can do realistically is have a Pickett to Pickens playing catch out there, and the Buccaneers defense will not allow that to happen. I still think Tampa has a top 3 defense. I think they completely shut down the Steelers. The Steelers will accidentally stumble into the touchdown into the end zone for 7 to 10 points, and the Buccaneers will put up 42 by themselves. So I'm going to take the over, and I'm going to take the Bucs minus 100.
That's the last of the 1 o'clock games on Sunday.
That is the last of the 1 o'clock games.
I could not agree more.
You just agreeing with me across the board? I think realistically, I think Tampa is going to put on a fucking clinic.
Tom Brady has.
If they don't put on a clinic, I would be fucking worried.
If they always has that game.
If they don't win this game by 3 touchdowns and they don't put up 35,
you're in trouble.
Then I would be concerned.
This next game pisses me off, actually.
Why does it piss you off? Oh, because you don't want the Rams to win. That's why.
That's exactly why. That's exactly why. They're giving up fucking 10 points to the Panthers.
If the
Panthers had a fucking quarterback in this game, they probably have a chance to beat these.
Well, they have PJ.
Okay. Well,
what's his name? PJ Walker?
Guess what? PJ can't do it. Okay? I don't think he's going to do it.
He just can't do it.
Can't do it. If they had Sam Darnold in there running the football, I would say, okay, they got a shot.
Oh my God.
Can I give you a wet dream here, though?
Sure.
If somehow Carolina
if they upset the Rams, I would be so fucking happy.
We would have a fucking party.
No,
you know what, though?
That defense is going to have a ball.
Carolina's defense is still not that bad. Okay. And if they can get to Matt Stafford early in that game, and Matt Stafford does his usual, turn the ball over 2 times in a game, they have a chance to cover.
Okay.
But I'm taking the Rams.
Anywho.
Thank you.
Give it up to 10.
Thank you. I'm going to do a surprising thing here. I'm going to take the under in this game because the Rams can't score points and the Panthers are fucking awful. But I am going to take the Panthers to cover. Don't ask me why. The Rams, and this is no exaggeration, I have never, ever seen a team worse at running the football than this current Los Angeles Rams team. Cam Akers looks awful. Darrell Henderson looks awful. The offensive line.
One of those two are going to break out this week.
No, they're not. No, they're not. You want to know why? Because neither of them are that good. That's why both of them were still there. That's why Sean McVay, for the first time, couldn't figure out what to do and couldn't pick a starting running back. Period. Because they're both just good enough to try, but they're not good enough to get the job done. We've seen it year after year after year.
The big pink elephant in the room. The offensive line is trash.
Offensive line cannot replace Andrew Whitworth. Whatever he brought to them, it's just awful.
It's gone.
They're injury-ridden too.
Motivation.
They are 32nd in rushing yards per game at 62 average.
A leader.
I mean, this is not the Rams team that we saw last year. They're 28th in total points scored. They average 16 points. They're just not that good. Period. They're not that good. Do I think that the Panthers are going to beat them? No. Do I think fucking PJ Walker is going to surprise people this week because everybody is so used to seeing how fucking putrid Baker Mayfield is? Yes. Do I think the Panthers are too dysfunctional to win this game away? Yes. I'm going to take the Panthers to cover because 10 points is too much when you are talking about a team that averages 16 points a week. Realistically, if they put 3 fucking idiots on Cooper Kupp and let everybody else run roughshod, they won't score more than 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
Panthers
to cover.
The under? Under. Fucking, I would take the under if it was 35 in this game.
This next game's kind of...
Bruce didn't say anything. You didn't wait for Bruce.
He never waits for me.
Wait for Bruce.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bruce.
You know, also your comments on Wednesday's episode.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Absurd. Dry.
Bruce thinks
Just
he's the glue that holds this thing together.
I am the glue.
I have some bad news for fucking...
Otherwise, it's just you guys going back and forth talking about...
do your job.
Listen, I was sitting there editing, and I was... Huh? Well, this is boring as hell.
All right.
Anyway, I'm taking the Rams. I'm taking the under.
Whatever.
And that's pretty much it. I don't
Beautiful.
think Carolina
Call
will
fucking
really,
Kelly
I don't think
Stafford.
Carolina will actually
Call
score
Kelly
a point.
Stafford. Tell somebody that cares.
But okay.
Oh.
Anyway, we'll move on after that bullshit. All right.
Bruce, why don't you introduce the next game for us?
The Cardinals going into Seattle. There you go.
Anybody looking at the fucking over and under on this game?
The Cardinals are indeed going into Seattle.
Are you fucking shitting me right now?
The Cardinals are a 2.5-point favorite. The over-under is 50.5. Seattle is getting some respect. And you want to know why? because the fucking Seahawks are 7th in points scored per game, and the Arizona Cardinals are 18th. Those two, if you take their average weeks together, I mean, Seattle, against the Lions, it was 48? Last week, it was 35? Yeah, the Seahawks are putting up immense amounts of points against poor defenses. Do I think Arizona has a great defense? No, I don't. Do I think Arizona was the most overhyped team going into this year? Yes, I do. Arizona cannot run the football.
The Rams were, but go ahead.
Arizona cannot run the football.
They have the same problem the Rams have.
They have the exact same problem the Rams have.
The only difference between the Cardinals and the Rams, they have Kyler Murray, and he's cute.
Kyler Murray is cute, but you want me to be honest with you?
He's cute. But Kyler Murray makes Matt Stafford-like decisions at the end of games.
Yes, he does.
Cost him.
Pisses them away.
Yes.
You want to know who's cuter than Kyler Murray?
Only one guy cuter than Kyler Murray. The original cuteness.
Geno Smith and the Seahawks. I am taking the underdogs in this game.
You think Geno Smith's more cute?
No. I said the underdog. I'm taking
the Seahawks.
The Seahawks to cover and to win. 50.5 points. Bullshit. I think this is going to be a 60-point game. I am hammering the over. I think the Seahawks are going to fucking put up 35 again this week, and next week we'll see it all come back down. But against Arizona at home, I'm taking the Seahawks not only to cover but to win, and I think this is going to be point-mageddon. I think you're going to have 60 points in this game.
I'm taking the under and
taking over.
Zona.
Taking over the Seahawks.
You're taking the Seahawks too, eh?
Yeah.
Give me the cuteness, baby.
You think Kyler Murray's going to just dance his way around the Seahawks?
Who's cuter? Who's cuter? It's the battle of.
I'd say the guy playing in the next game that we're going to talk about is cuter than he is.
Oh, absolutely. He's the king of cuteness.
There's nobody cuter than Pat Mahomes.
If you want to talk about games of the week, this could be the game of the year. This could be
the AFC Championship
the
game
AFC
right here.
Championship preview. The Buffalo Bills are heading to Arrowhead. Both teams are 4-1 to play the Chiefs. The Bills are a 2.5-point favorite. The over-under is 54. It is a 4:30 start. And guess what? I was shocked to see the Bills as a 2.5-point favorite in this game. I wasn't shocked to see the over-under of 54.
It's over. Over that. I think it'll be over. They're going to score more than 54 points in this game. You want to know why? Number one, I'm taking the Chiefs. I'm taking the Chiefs and the fucking points at home against Buffalo.
I agree with it.
Pat Mahomes is going to stand on his fucking head this week. He's going to throw 5 under between his legs, under his back, around his fucking head, little stupid pitch touchdowns to Travis Kelce, who's going to score 5 touchdowns this week, and they're going to win. And a nail biter by fucking 2 points.
This is exactly Buffalo versus Miami, in my opinion, and I think the Chiefs come out on top.
I think you're both very wrong.
Okay.
I am going to take Buffalo minus 2.5. I am going to take the under in this game. Why, you may ask? I know both of these teams can easily put up 40 points, right? If the over-under in this game was 75, there would still be some people taking the over. Now, this is what I saw from Kansas City last week. I saw a team that does not have a true good wide receiver. I saw Juju Smith-Schuster drop a lot of passes. I saw Mecole Hardman drop passes. I saw Marquez Valdes-Scantling drop passes. I saw Clyde Edwards-Helaire not look that inspirational. I saw Isaac Pacheco not look that great. At the end of the day, Mahomes is very cute. And at the end of the day, could he throw 3 touchdowns to Travis Kelce? Abso-fucking-lutely. And will the Bills have anything to stop it? No. But will their linebacking core do a better job against him than anybody else has thus far? Yes. I do. I don't trust the Chiefs receivers. I don't trust the Chiefs offense to win really big games without Tyreek Hill. They are one-dimensional. That one dimension is throw the ball to Travis Kelce and have Pat Mahomes run for his life. Buffalo's defense is too good for that. Buffalo's offense is too good for that. The Chiefs have some holes in their defense. Devontae Adams burned them a few times on Monday night. At the end of the day, Mike Evans burned them a few times 2 weeks ago. I don't have 1,000% faith in this Chiefs team. They beat the Chargers by a field goal. They lost to the Colts. They had a great game against Tampa, and they were kind of maybe gifted a win against the Vegas Raiders. Either way, I think this is Buffalo. This is going to be a Buffalo win. I think Josh Allen's going to have a great game. I think Buffalo's defense will be ready. And you want to know who the player of this game is going to be? It's going to be Von Miller. Because if there's one human being who has the anecdote for the cuteness and is going to make Mahomes eat turf, it's going to be Von Miller. And I love how this is the first time you've ever favorited the Chiefs in anything, and you're sitting here looking at me like I'm fucking crazy. But go ahead.
I didn't say anything.
No rebuke, no rebuttal?
No.
Just the Chiefs.
They're at home, and he's cute.
No. Josh Allen's not cute. Josh Allen's a man's man, and he's gonna take him in this game. Bills -2.5 and the under. Next up, I can't wait to make this one. I cannot wait to do this. The Cowboys are playing the Eagles. The Eagles are a 6.5-point favorite. The over-under is 42. Go ahead.
Why are you telling me go ahead?
This is your team.
All right. I'm going to take the Eagles, giving up the 6.5, and I'm going to go over. They're the most balanced team in the NFL, period.
Great. Yeah.
I'm going to take, the over and Philly.
Well,
Cooper Rush has got to lose sometime.
Yeah.
And if he don't lose this week, the guy deserves that job permanently, period.
That's true. That's true. If they win this game, Dak needs to be sitting the fucking bench. Glued to it.
I will make you guys a promise right now. The Dallas Cowboys will beat the Philadelphia Eagles this weekend.
Okay.
Period. Point blank. End of story. In Philly. Philly, 6.5-point favorite. Doesn't matter. Cooper Rush at quarterback. Doesn't matter. The Cowboys defense matches up perfectly against the Eagles.
Philadelphia's defense is actually better than Dallas's defense.
But it's not.
They are.
No, they're not.
Statistically, they are.
Are they? Statistically,
Yes,
they
they
are.
are.
Well, you know how much I love my stats.
Okay.
Points allowed per game. Dallas is third.
Okay.
Yards per game. Fourth.
Okay.
Pass yards. 28th. Sacks. Second. Interceptions. 10th. Philly. Points allowed per game. 8th.
Yeah, but I'll say
Yards
this.
allowed per game.
You're saying that
20.
right now. But the points allowed is one game. One fucking game this year that the points were allowed. The Detroit game. Since then, statistically, they've been better than Dallas.
No, that's not
Yes,
true.
that
No,
is
they
true.
gave up 21 to
That is
Jacksonville
true.
and 17 to Arizona.
That is true.
They gave up 21 to Jacksonville and 17 to Arizona.
And who's Dallas played again?
Who's Dallas played?
Yeah. Who's Dallas played again? Who's Dallas's only loss?
Tampa Bay.
There you
Week
go.
1 with Dak
Week
Prescott. Then they beat
With Dak
Cincinnati.
Prescott.
They beat the Giants. They beat Washington.
Yeah,
they
what was
beat
that score
LA.
of the Giants game?
So
The score of the Giants
three
game
of those
23-16.
teams
Yeah.
are terrible. Of what you just said.
Say that again.
Correct.
Say that again.
Three of
those
Dallas.
teams were terrible.
Which three?
Right.
The Commanders.
All right.
Name them again.
Tampa. They lost.
No, that
They lost
Okay.
to Tampa.
Yeah. Cincy.
They beat.
terrible.
Cincy's a terrible lose. Cincinnati. The defending AFC championship.
Yeah, they've been
they've
average
been-
this
they've
year.
been-
Okay, they
playing
beat them by a field goal.
They've been barely average this year. Go ahead.
The Giants.
Okay.
Okay.
They're 4-1.
Washington.
Dog.
The Rams.
Dog.
Oh, dog. Well, the Phillies wins is Detroit,
Yeah.
Minnesota,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Washington, Jacksonville, Arizona. They have not. They are yet to have a true test.
Jacksonville.
So you don't think that
they're about
that
even.
game against
They're
fucking
about even
Minnesota
right now.
was a test for them?
No, I don't.
They blew them out.
I'm aware.
They blew out Minnesota.
Yes, but that was not a. Minnesota is not a test. Dallas is a test.
You think
Tampa
you don't
is a
think
test?
That Minnesota could beat Dallas?
No, I don't.
Really?
No, I don't.
Shocker.
Do you? Have you guys had your head in the sand for the last 4
don't-
weeks?
You're the one who was just saying that.
I don't know. I'm
Minnesota's
taking
better
the
than what
Eagles,
everybody
giving up the
says.
6.5.
Minnesota is
okay?
better than what everybody is,
Taking
but
the Eagles to win.
I'm
period.
taking Dallas
Taking
to
the
cover
Eagles.
and win.
I didn't know there was this much adversity behind.
I mean, it's like everybody all of a sudden just sits here and looks at the Cowboys defense, who are statistically the number one defense in the league
but that
for the
doesn't
last 4
necessarily
games.
always mean that they're gonna,
Well, you know what? We'll see. We'll
Don't
see. I
lie.
can't
You
wait.
want to know how
Can't wait.
you want to know how I know you're screwed?
Okay.
Bruce agrees with you.
Okay.
Moving on.
Him and I agreed on a lot last week, and we actually came out on top.
That's right.
You did. You guys came out on top.
That's right.
Broncos head into LA to play the Chargers. The Chargers are 4.5-point favorite. The over/under is 45.5.
This is a shitty Monday night game.
You know how I'm gonna play. That's still on the fence.
It's still on the
Doesn't it
fence.
say he's
What's wrong with him?
I
fucking
wanna say it was a
hamstring?
hamstring, yeah.
God damn it.
Okay. To me, that doesn't really fucking matter.
Yeah.
The Chargers are gonna go into the Chargers are gonna blow out the
He's currently questionable.
The Chargers are going to blow out Denver. Period. I just the
You know
Chargers.
what? You know what? This is a divisional game.
Oh God.
It's a must-win game for the Broncos. The procedure that Russell Wilson had, is he even playing?
Yes, he is.
Even with that procedure,
Yep.
he's going to play?
Yeah.
That surprises me.
Do you want me to be honest with you?
Yeah.
The Broncos are a 2-win team.
What?
They've won 2 games.
Okay.
Okay. I look at their schedule. The Chargers, the Jets, the Jaguars, Tennessee, Vegas again, Carolina, Baltimore, Kansas City, Arizona, Rams, Kansas City, Chargers again. I can't see this team winning more than 5 games.
Okay.
They have looked fucking awful. Period. Russell Wilson has looked awful. Melvin Gordon looks awful. Russell Wilson can't get the ball to his receivers. Their defense is.
Why
Russ
the
is
fuck
hurt.
are they only 4.5 point
I don't
dog?
know. I truly don't know.
I don't.
And you know what? You look at Denver every week. They're not a huge underdog every week.
I love their defense.
I
Their
absolutely
defense is
love their
really
defense.
nice.
At the end of the day, though, unless you get Russell Wilson in the offense right, it's going to be ugly. I'm going to take the Chargers -4.5, and I'm going to take the under. And the whole thing is, the under worries me because Austin Eckler and Mike Williams could hit the over by themselves.
Yeah.
We saw it last week.
If Keelan Allen's playing, it could be
it
a
could get
blowout.
ugly.
You could probably see him on a snap count. It says
Well, here's the thing.
he's going
All right,
towards.
I'm going to do
return.
this.
He's
I'm
questionable.
going to take. I'm going to take the Broncos to cover, not to win, to cover.
What do you mean cover?
Cover.
You've said that about every team.
Yeah, you said that about every. It's 4.5. In what world do you think the Chargers are less than a field goal better than the Broncos?
I'm going to take them to cover.
That's awful. That's an awful
I
take.
think Denver's defense is enough to hold them in check.
What do you
I'm gonna
mean
take
to
the
hold
under.
them in check?
I'm going to take them. Take
Awful
take
take.
Broncos defense.
Are you taking the over or the under?
Under.
You know what? I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take the Chargers -4.5 in the over. I think Chargers are going to score 35. Bruce?
I'm going to take the under, but I'm taking the Chargers.
Yeah.
I just want to see how
Do you understand? The Broncos fans,
Herbert is going to take a hit from a very good pass rushing defense.
But until Russ can prove that he's healthy enough to play, like
Question for you.
Sure.
Who'd you rather have behind center right now, Geno Smith or Russell Wilson?
Geno Smith,
Thank you. Who'd you rather have behind center right now, Jared Goff or Russell Wilson?
Jared Goff.
Thank you. That's it. Russell Wilson has
I'm
less
just gonna-
stock
I
right now.
think you're
Geno
gonna cover.
Smith. I don't know.
I would too.
I don't know.
There's
I don't
one
know. I'm
team who
taking
has
the
a
legend,
worse
dude. I'm
quarterbacks.
taking Russ.
That's fine. Take the legend. But there's one team who realistically, well, Miami this week, but there's one team with a worse quarterback situation than what the Broncos have shown me right now, and that's fucking Carolina. Period. Russell Wilson has played putrid. Until we see otherwise, you take whoever's playing against them. Last night, real quick, The Commanders beat the Bears. We didn't talk about this. We mentioned it to open the show. We didn't talk about the Thursday night matchup. What the fuck was that?
All I could say is this.
It's all these
if the Chicago Bears' defense weren't as good as they are, they would just get fucking shut out every
these
game.
Thursday night games.
Do you know that Carson Wentz threw 100 less yards than Justin Fields?
I know.
And they fucking won. Yeah. Carson Wentz,
by the way,
99 yards.
Was not a touchdown.
Which touchdown? The Mooney one at the end?
Yeah.
It was not a touchdown.
No, not the end. Was it Mooney? No, it wasn't. It was their first touchdown. It was what gave them the 6 points.
Whose first touchdown, Bruce?
It was the only touchdown they had all night. I don't know who it was.
The Bears' first touchdown?
Yeah.
I might have missed this, but either way.
Oh, well, he caught
Pettis
the ball.
had a touchdown. Yes, it was.
No, his left foot came right out, and they called it a touchdown because they wanted points on the fucking board for a Thursday night game. It was not a touchdown. If you don't believe me, go watch it. Go watch it. Go watch it. If you don't believe me, go watch it. It wasn't a fucking touchdown. He didn't have possession. The one at the end of the game, absolutely, that was a good call by the ref to notice that he bobbled the ball. That was good.
Hold on. Here it is. I got it pulled up. I'll be honest with you, there's a 30-second ad here. So, real quick, Brian Robinson in his first start since the shooting, 17 attempts, 60 yards and a touchdown. Can't ask for much more. Justin Fields led the Bears in rushing. Khalil Herbert got 7 carries, 75 yards. David Montgomery, 15 for 65. Dante Pettis, 7 targets, 4 receptions, 84 yards and a tud. Mooney got 12 targets last night. Great. 7 receptions for 68 yards. That was a touchdown, Bruce. Bruce, it was a fucking touchdown.
That was a touchdown.
I watched it.
Just seen it. It was a touchdown.
Bullshit.
Anyway.
Damn, you're gonna break your fucking.
You know
laptop
something
if you
every week.
slap
with
it
you.
like
it's
that.
every week with you. Anyways.
Yeah, you could say that all you want. Guess what? What are you gonna do about it?
Do you want to go there? Anyways. Anything to add before we close today out?
It's mind numbing.
That's it?
Yes.
There's your title, by the way. Write it down. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. Enjoy a great weekend of matchups. If you haven't yet, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Tip Balls, TikTok at Tip Balls Podcast. If you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Music, make sure to watch us on YouTube and subscribe. If you're watching us, you know where to listen. Also, if you are a brand, company, or just a really cool person looking to work with us on Tipped Balls, any sort of advertisement sponsorships, we are open to listening. Please message us on Instagram or email us, tippedballs@gmail.com to get more information there. We'd love to work with you guys. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back on Tuesday.
Yep.
To recap and see if we were right or not. Thank you guys. Have a good weekend.